yo.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
You
What
good,
up?
baby? You good?
We
in
live,
there.
son.
Okay.
We live. Ain't no checks no more.
You in there? Everybody, welcome to another episode. What is this? Episode 14 now? Who the hell do we think we are?
So
14?
Of
It's
your
13.
boys. It's 13.
Something?
Yeah, because last week when y'all got in the argument, I was laughing because it was episode 13, and it would be episode 13.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. But yeah, it's your boys, Trash Talk with GS. We out here for the Sitcom tournament. What's the best sitcom ever, according to your boys, Trash Talk with GGS? We gonna figure that shit out, but not before we ask how everybody's week was. G, how was the week, baby?
Yeah, week was good, man. End up on a trash job, but you know, working and more working, but making a couple dollars. Other than that, man, just chilling, enjoying this weather, enjoying the sunshine, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful out.
Here we go. We back.
We in
Sitcom
it.
time.
Smills, how was that week?
I mean, it's a great week, a celebratory week, like we were speaking a little bit earlier. You got the Juneteenth thing going on. You know, happy Father's Day to all
That's
the
right.
dads out there.
Right,
You know
happy
what I'm
Father's
saying?
Day.
Like, definitely a celebratory week. So, I mean, I'm liking it right now. I'm chilling.
Definitely,
Yeah.
man. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there.
Yes.
Jay Genius, Smills Daily, they are both fathers. Happy Father's Day
Father
to both of y'all.
3. And I
Alright.
did not have to slap one up today, so it's been a good Father's Day.
But yeah, man. So without further ado, we gonna get right into this tournament. Now we put a feeler out on the Facebook, and we put the brackets out on Facebook as well. So if you want to follow along with the brackets, check your boys on Facebook. Trash Talk with GGS. Round 1 is going to start now, and it starts with the Jeffersons versus the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And G, we'll start with you.
The Jeffersons was just because see, the thing about the Jeffersons, yo, at that time, because you know that was a spinoff of All in the Family, but the Jeffersons ran longer than All in the Family, and
It did.
just the dynamic of the Jeffersons showing, you know, them really moving on up back in that time with the maid and all of that. And then another dope thing about it, which wasn't really seen on TV like that, you had the interracial neighbor couple, you know what I'm saying? And just George and Wheezy were just some funny motherfuckers, man. Shenanigans were always afoot.
Florence.
And Martha Gibbs' son. I don't know who would have played that better, yo. But see, this is what, when I seen that bracket, this is dope because this is the battle of the butlers.
Yeah.
Because
Ooh,
Jeffrey, son,
Jeffrey was fun.
Jeffrey was slick with it, yo.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jeffrey
yeah.
was.
Jeffrey was
Jeffrey
slick
was.
with it, man. And that's where they kind of fall into the same place, which is dope. Because, you know, you got the same kind of dynamic. Aside from, you know, of course, you know, on the Fresh Prince, it was more, you had the kids and all that. But just if you just take the heads of the household and the maid thing, that dynamic, yo, it was. But I don't know, man, because when you think of Fresh Prince, just to see how Will broke out and became such a great actor on that show, and just Alfonso Ribeiro and what he did with Carlton, man, especially
my
as the years
God.
progressed, yo. Like, the episode when he had to go and Will left him in the hood, and he was like, "Yo, French, where you check?" Had the wave cap on and all. And then he walked out in the hallway and was being Carlton, yo. Ah, man. And of course, that episode when Will's pops walked out, and that whole moment,
Bro.
I don't really know a moment on sitcom television that really moved me like that.
You know what's dope about that moment? And I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but like, he really cried. And
Yeah.
they went to do it, to my understanding, they went to do it, and what was Uncle Phil's name in real life?
James Avery.
James Avery. James Avery was like, nah,
Mhm.
do it again. And he made him do it again. And like Will said something about how like he was always looking for James Avery's acceptance as an actor. So he kind of was looking at James, and he was getting in it, like the whole shit going on with his pops, he was channeling the emotions of wanting the acceptance of James Avery, which brought him to tears. And then he said, like, James Avery, when they hugged, he went in his ear, he was like, now that's what I call acting.
Yeah.
It's one of
he
the
said that on the
best
reunion.
moments.
And it was crazy because that moment felt so real. Like, for people that didn't know, you thought that Will Smith as a person was really abandoned by his father, when yet he had his father in his whole life. But if you didn't know no better, you would have thought that was the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, that joint played off so well.
When he said, how come he don't want me, man? That shit,
yo.
Oh my God.
And mind you, the closest I've come to ever seeing my father is looking in the mirror. So when he said that, yo, and me being young back then, even though not really understanding why my situation was what it was, but just hearing those words at such a young age and the way he did that, it was like, yo.
Yeah,
like that shit brought me to tears back in the day.
That was a moment.
Yeah.
But if you had to put it up against the Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons on the comedy tip, Fresh Prince really ain't messing. But for me, for what Fresh Prince brought to the table and like the situations that Fresh Prince put towards us, aside from the father thing, remember when like Will got shot and Carlton wanted to get the gun and all that?
Yeah.
That was a real, real heavy moment. Like them moments in Fresh Prince, man. And then of course, for the little G in you back in the day, seeing Will just have mad ladies. Tyra Banks, Nia Long, Vivica Fox was there. Like, it was like, Nia
I'm trying
to be like him when I grow up.
Nia Long.
Nia Long, son. Number 1 and number 2, Nia Long and Sanaa Lathan all day. I already told my wife, if one of them pulled up and said, let's get it. I'm out.
You ain't got no chance. I'm kicking you out.
I'm out.
I'm moving them right in.
So if you see this, We probably watch this tonight,
That's funny.
But nah, it was for me, I give it to Fresh Prince, man, just for what it did for me and being, in my prime. And like when the Jeffersons came out, of course I wasn't here, but you watched the Jeffersons growing up. I watched that, at families' houses and all that. And the comedy held up. Like Florence wasn't to be messed with, yo.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to Fresh Prince as well. And the reason why I'm gonna do that, and I'm sorry, Stills, if you was gonna pick the Jeffersons, my bad about that. I guess Fresh Prince is going through. I grew up on Fresh Prince and Martin. Fresh Prince, Martin, Full House, and Family Matters were like the 4 sitcoms that me personally, in the early 90s, I grew up watching.
This is the funny part. Because my vote is the Jeffersons. I'm not going to go into it because the Fresh Prince already won. But I would put more so the Fresh Prince against Martin, and I don't think that the Fresh Prince beats Martin. But we'll see what happens.
I mean, the way the brackets are looking, it might get there.
Okay.
It's not impossible.
It might get.
It's not impossible.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I think it's gonna get there.
I'll have my day in that bracket.
Yeah. I think it's gonna get there. But like, I remember the episode of Fresh Prince where Carlton was trying to get into the sorority or the fraternity, whichever's the guy version of it. Fraternity. There you go. And how the dude went to Will and he was like, we want you in. Like, cool. And Will was like, Carlton, we in. Like, no, we don't want him. He's not black enough.
Yeah.
And Will and then Carlton had to he was like, why? Because of the way I dress, because of the way that I talk. And then Carlton spinned it on him and ended up because he called Carlton a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carlton spinned it on him and called him, and Will was in the background like, yeah. They both just walked away or some shit like that. Yeah, Fresh Prince has too many moments for me to put. Yeah. And I didn't grow up watching the Jeffersons like that. I really kind of can't touch on it too much, unfortunately. I do know that it was a spinoff of All in the Family and it had more seasons, so they was doing something right, obviously. And Sherman Hemsley is forever an icon, forever.
It's more like I remember quite a few episodes of the Jeffersons, but it's just them episodes of Fresh Prince, man. Like that other episode when What was it that Carlton dragged himself across the floor and into the audience, like and around the set? You remember that? Somebody died or something like that.
It sounds familiar.
And he dragged himself by, like he was on his knees dragging himself with his hands. He ran around outside. He ran into the crowd.
I remember that. I remember.
I was hollering when he did that, yo.
And then Hillary being all bougie and shit.
Yeah.
And then Hillary had that one fiance, and he died in the bungee jump accident.
Oh, when they was watching him on TV. Yeah,
that shit was hilarious.
Yo. Oh man, you just heard.
And they was all just sitting there, like, oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, did that just really happen?
Yeah.
Like, that's how they was looking at it. Like, did that
will you marry me?
Oh yeah.
Yo. Yeah.
That was so wrong.
That was hilarious, yo.
All right.
I forgot about that one.
Well, Fresh Prince moves on. Big ups to the Jeffersons. Yeah. Next on the docket, we got Different Strokes versus the Bernie Mac Show and Smills. We're gonna let you start this off.
Why do I have to start that? Oh man, son. I love me some Bernie Mac Show, man. If you're gonna go on the comedy tip, and like, I'm gonna say Bernie Mac is far superior when it comes to the comedic aspect of it. But Different Strokes, man, I'll never forget that fucking episode with the bike, man, in the bike shop and the fucking child molester. That episode is like how y'all was just talking about with the Will Smith episode with his dad. That shit, when they was in a bike shop and it was a child molester stalking him and he got Dudley to the crib and all of that, and then Arnold had to like try to get like that.
Yeah, I do remember that. I vaguely remember that.
Blows my mind, bro. Yeah. As a kid, that opened my eyes up to the world that, wow, there really are people like that. And that's powerful right there. You know what I'm saying? But if I just want to say what, I'm going to sit back and pour me a glass of wine and have a couple of asparagus with it, I'm throwing on Bernie Mac, son. So I'm going to go with the Bernie Mac Show. Big up to Different Strokes, though. That's my show, man. What you talking about, Willie?
Yeah, that shit was iconic.
I think that Different Strokes is more iconic than the Bernie Mac Show, but to Smill's point, like he just said, yo, Bernie Mac was on another level, man.
Yo.
Yeah, man.
That motherfucker, one of the funniest comedians to ever do it.
Yes.
Television.
And for sure, he had that short period of time. Imagine if he had longevity.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So now I guess that one is unanimous.
Well, I didn't say my choice, but I got a feeling we know what yours is.
I am Bernie Mac, so you know what.
Yeah, you are.
But nah. It's the thing about me with Different Strokes, because you know Different Strokes in its way was iconic, and to see that dynamic of, you know, inner city kids growing up with a rich family and stuff, that was an interesting moment in television. You know what I'm saying? Especially around that time.
Kind of like the blueprint for the Fresh Prince, if you think about it.
Yeah, if you really dig deep into it. But see, the thing about me that really killed it for me with Different Strokes, and I guess just knowing what was all the shit that was going on behind the scenes on Different Strokes.
Yeah, they was
wilding, yo.
They was fucked up.
What are some? I'm uneducated.
Like the old the daughter and Ty Bridges, they was getting high. They was fucking. She was giving head back there.
Died, I think
she OD'd. She OD'd.
Yeah. And Ty Bridges, he was getting into problems with the law.
He was fucked up.
Knows how long.
He was fucked up for a while until he ended up on.
So was Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
Gary Coleman was wild and smacking chicks up and all. Like he was wild.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, he got crazy domestic violence charges, son.
Yes.
Up until right before he died.
Yo, that's why some people think that wasn't no accident, bro. Some people think that his wife pushed him down those stairs, bro.
You know what?
would
I
not
did
believe
hear
it,
that.
yo.
I did hear that.
I believe it.
I'm telling, I wouldn't put it past, man. Especially if he was giving her the 1-2 when he got like twisted or whatever, and she just got tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, things, man.
And yeah, like
can only
even
back
from when
against
the show
what's
was
going
going
on
on
so
and like
long.
people not showing up in episodes and stuff like that, that's the type of shit that was going on. And you know, it was Different Strokes for me wasn't like as heavily as impactful as it could have been given the premise of what the show was about, in my opinion. But Bernie Mac, son, yeah.
America.
And see, and even when you say that, yo, that was a different type of format when that came out. Him sitting and addressing the audience directly like that.
It's almost like a confessional. Like you would see in like a reality show.
Yeah.
And he put that into the sitcom, having like, you know, famous guests. Like he would have he had a joint with Shaq. I maybe he had something where he was sitting down talking to Serena Williams. She was about to chip him up. And she jumped at him, and like it's just, and those made for separate comedic moments out of the show. And it also showed the range of the show, because those specific moments that were happening were real life moments of Bernie Mac and Serena Williams, or when he had Angela Bassett there, or Shaq or Ellen. Those was real life moments, and then it flipped right into the sitcom.
He had Triple H on there too. Him and Triple H was mad tight in that episode.
Yeah, because Jordan was prank calling Triple H or whatever. He was prank calling him. Yeah, he got Bernie's Rolodex and he found Triple H's number and he kept calling him on the phone. And then Triple H pulled up at the crib and was on the grill, and Jordan came outside. He turned around. He's like, "Oh shit." Yeah.
Was that the episode where Jordan was practicing wrestling moves with his friend? And his friend was like behind
that was a
him?
different episode.
That was different.
Yeah.
Yo, I would never forget that episode.
Yeah. And Bernie came outside like
Bernie.
And that's the thing, yo. Bernie Mac, his faces, yo. The faces that he, like all of that, yo. That in itself was just funny, yo. And just what that show did, and what that show did for telling the story of living a life and dealing with, you know, those type of situations where having relatives with substance abuse problems, and you being like, it touched a lot of stuff, and it touched it in a way that made it, for me, real believable. Like the way the show was put together, it didn't seem like it was far-fetched. Like you would have thought Bernie was really telling something about his real life, which he wasn't. The show was basically based off a skit that he would tell in his comedy about him taking his sister's kids because she was on drugs, and he turned it into the show. But it became so believable that it seemed like that's what it really was, yo. And it's just so many gems and so many just good moments in that show, man. Oh man.
And Wanda too, bro.
Oh yeah.
Wanda. There was a season, I think, and I don't mean to sound perverted when I say this, people, but I'm only a red-blooded man. I think the actress Wanda, she had given birth or something like that. And she came back the next season or something like that, and she was thicker than a snake.
Yeah.
All right, so Bernie Mac wins. Big ups to Different Strokes. Rest in peace, Gary Coleman.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
The next one hurts me so bad because it's Friends versus I Love Lucy, and I think I Love Lucy's the greatest sitcom ever, but I love Friends. Oh man. And I guess since y'all I gotta start this one. I don't even want to do this. Cancel the whole thing. We ain't doing this no more, bro.
Nah, so let's keep it moving.
Cancel the whole thing.
Because when y'all get to a certain bracket, I know I'm probably gonna lose, but I'm going to fight the good fight. So go ahead, son.
Oh, Everybody Hates Chris is gonna get bodied.
Oh, I didn't even get there. Yet.
Oh, okay. I'm just letting you know we are gonna throw Everybody Hates Chris in a body bag.
I don't know what that's up against, but we'll get there.
Kevin Arnold is about to whoop that ass.
Oh, that's where we at. All right. Well, let's keep it where we at. Yo, don't get a joint away, son.
I'm just deflecting because I don't want to do this. All right,
let's go, son.
Friends versus I Love Lucy. I love Friends. Friends, God damn it. Shit, man. I gotta look at this bracket real quick and see where it's at.
Come on, stop trying to rig it, man.
No,
You
I
gotta
ain't
go
trying to rig nothing. I'm Phoebe got a lot of her shit from Lucille Ball, did she not?
I would say.
A lot
For
of
me, this is
Lucille
easy.
Ball's
For me,
impact.
this is easy.
Yeah, for me,
This
it's
is very
easy too.
easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go I Love Lucy. Oh shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do it. I Love Lucy. Final answer. Don't at me.
Smells, you want to go? You
Okay.
want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go I Love Lucy. And I don't think that it's even close, bruh. As far as for what I Love Lucy represents, the time that it came out and the consistency that it had.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious, bro. Friends is a good show, but it's no I Love Lucy.
Nah. I Love Lucy, yo. Lucille Ball's comedic genius show. And it's she did that slap her she was like one of the best slapstick comedians I have seen
Ever.
on TV, yo.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like the episode when
She
they
was up
had
there
the
with
damn
Abbott and Costello.
yeah.
She was definitely up there
Yeah.
with Abbott and Costello.
The episode where her and Ethel was doing the fucking the candy
Oh,
fucking
that's classic.
oh
yeah.
my god, yo.
Yeah.
And she couldn't keep up. She just started stuffing them shits in her mouth. Yo, you talking about hollering, yo?
Yo, you remember?
Who do you think the funniest at that slapstick is? Because I know who I think it is.
the funniest
I'm
at
gonna go with
slapstick?
The Three Stooges.
Oh,
But that's a different type, yo.
Larry
But
Moe
that's
Curly.
still that slapstick. Like,
Yeah, but that's a different type, yo. They're unbeatable when it comes
Yeah.
to that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, the episode of I Love Lucy where she had to do the commercial for the Vita Vegemin, Vita some shit. It was like cough syrup.
Oh yeah, she had to keep saying it.
And
Yeah.
she started to get drunk. Oh my god, yo. I
Yeah,
was
yo.
in tears watching that shit. All right, I Love Lucy, and that sucks, and my girl's gonna hate me because she's a big Friends fan. But listen, babe, it is what it is. I Love Lucy had to take it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up on the docket, we got The Wonder Years versus Everybody Hates Chris. State your claim, G.
Well, first off, for me, I never really considered The Wonder Years a sitcom in the classical sense of sitcom. To me, The Wonder Years feels more like a drama. I didn't really spend a whole lot of my time laughing at The Wonder Years. Excellent
Okay.
show,
Okay.
but The Wonder Years felt more like a drama to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It falls into that lane of like 90210-ish, like them type of shits. Everybody Hates Chris was hilarious. That was a sitcom. And no matter what you say, Tashina Arnold is, in that show, unbeatably funny, yo. And just the way that Chris Rock put that together with the narration and him coming in with the little, the little riffs every couple of seconds and this, that, and the other, and just like how a lot of that stuff played out and how it really brought you back to your childhood, playing the old school music when the episodes would open up, and just that whole vibe, man. Like the one episode I remember when Chris was trying to be a DJ, and he took his mother's James Brown album, Payback or whatever, and he was DJing and he scratched the shit. Like, what type of chills went up my spine, because back in the day you would like touch your grandmother's or your mother's record player, and the most scared thing you'd be is scratching a record.
I did that to my Aunt's Thriller album. I was scratching up Thriller. Like, I was scratching it up thinking I was a DJ, and I messed her freaking whole record player up and the record.
Yes, I scratched Anita Baker, and I literally scratched it and broke the needle. Man, you talking about ass whooping, yo?
Oh, okay, that's what I was gonna ask you, because I know that had to come along with that.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. But like
Anita
things
Baker.
like that, and just I don't know, man. Just the way that the show played out with the narration, that was also fresh at that time. Because Bernie Mac was kind of doing it with the sitting down addressing you on TV, but the way Chris Rock did that narration, yo.
Well,
it was
keep
just,
in mind though, the narration, Wonder Years had the narration.
I know.
Daniel Stern,
Yeah.
who was one of the sticky bandits from Home Alone.
Wonder Years had it definitely. But like I said, Wonder Years it doesn't put me in the same space when I think of sitcom. Like I said, Wonder Years, I sit down, I watch it. Wonder Years was good, man. Definitely, but it doesn't put me in the same space as, a sitcom. When I'm watching a sitcom, I'm ready to crack up. Wonder Years used to have me stressing. It's like, yo, when he gonna stop playing him out or nah, yo? Like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was it was stressful for me.
That's what made it good.
But
Because
it invoked a lot of emotion. I'll say that, because it takes you from stress to the point where you're like, yo, Winnie's trash, yo, you need to stop playing. And this, like, it took you through a lot of emotion. That's one thing I will say was dope about it.
I would say based on character progression too, Wonder Years takes it. Because I mean the characters and Everybody Hates Chris, like nothing. Also with like Friends too, like the shit about Friends is like, and I don't mean to go back, but everybody wanted Ross and Rachel to eventually get together, and that shit ain't happened until the very last episode. But like their love for each other evolved over time,
they
and
they
they
were together on and off. They had the baby and all
well,
that.
They were on and off, but for the most part, they wasn't like solidified a thing like that.
Yeah,
until the end. Not like Monica and Chandler were.
Yeah.
And then Monica and Chandler, when they went on the retreat, I forgot where it was, and Chandler was in the room, and then she pulled the sheets up, and it was Monica. Like, oh shit, it's going down.
Yeah.
Like, there's character progression. Everybody Hates Chris ain't got no character progression. You know what I mean? And I get Terry Crews being frugal with his money, but I think the dad on Wonder Years did that better in a more realistic kind of way with it. But that's also because Everybody Hates Chris was more of a funny kind of it was more of a funny sitcom type of thing. Wonder Years took that a little bit more serious. So you say Everybody Hates Chris, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's sitcom. Like the thing that I could say in the Wonder Years that really gave me classic sitcom vibes was the mom, yo. She was funny. She had her moments. She gave me classic sitcom vibes.
The brother too.
And
Wayne?
What's the name? Yeah. That's what I was about to say. But like, if I want to watch a sitcom, I'm gonna turn on Everybody Hates Chris before Wonder Years. If I want to watch a drama, something that, invokes a little emotion, then I turn on Wonder Years. But for the sake of this tournament, I say Everybody Hates Chris.
If you want to watch a show, which one would you turn on first?
That's what I'm saying. It depends on what I want to watch. Am I watching something that I want to laugh at, or something that I want to, delve into?
Okay.
Something that you know what I'm saying? So for the sake of sitcom, I associate sitcom with something I want to laugh at. So I'm going to turn on Everybody Hates Chris.
Mills, what do you think?
I'm glad that both of y'all presented your arguments, because those were both some nice little arguments. But I'm going to say that Jay Genius has persuaded me as far as the definition of sitcom, because that's the reason why I chose I Love Lucy and a landslide over Friends, for the sitcom aspect of it, which is the comical aspect. Like he said, like the drama, and like you say with character development, that's a bonus on sitcoms, but that does more lean into the drama thing. So I would look at the Wonder Years now more so from a perspective of more like a drama. I would look at it like, those HBO dramas with what's the name of that joint that they have with that dysfunctional family on HBO?
You talking about Shameless?
Yeah.
Showtime.
I would look at
Showtime.
Showtime. Yeah, exactly. I would put like the Wonder Years in a box like that. Now, like the way that Jay broke that down, I'm gonna go with Everybody Hates Chris.
Saying my shit was gonna get washed. Put that stripe through in Wonder Years. Man.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Wonder Years is good. Like, don't get it fucked up.
The breakdown of the
meaning of
about,
sitcom.
You got that.
You know
like,
what? I feel like I fucked up then. I shouldn't have put the Wonder Years up there, because we got Sanford and Son, which would have beat Everybody Hates Chris on the honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Honeymooners, Golden Girls would have beat Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah, the honorable mention list is kind of
The honorable mention list is more lit than the actual tournament.
I would even gave Everybody Loves Raymond over Everybody Hates Chris, yo. Me personally. But unfortunately,
it is what it is. That's
Chris
what it
Rock
came
moves
out.
on.
All right,
let's move on.
Everybody Hates Chris moves on. Okay, so it's looking crazy so far. Next one, we got Martin versus Living Single.
I might as well just go first because I already know I probably lost. But I'm gonna go. I go Living Single.
You're bugging.
No, I'm not. Hold up. I know, because I know both of y'all gonna go Martin. That's why I just said what I said. That's why I'm gonna go first. So we don't even gotta waste our time with this. But I'm gonna just give my opening argument and my closing argument or whatever.
Yep.
Now, when we were saying what we were saying about like slapstick comedy and stuff like that, that's more of the lane that I put Martin in. And how we were saying, comedy shows that are really a comedy about nothing. Though they're kind of both in that, but see, when what you just said about the Wonder Years and stuff like that versus Martin, for me, is aside from the slapstick, you were saying stuff about character progression, right?
Yes.
There's really none of that in Martin. If you want to say
bugging.
because Pammy and Tom got together, if you want to say, hold up, this is not your turn, son. If you want to say
what you're saying, though, you are bugging.
Okay, well, you can get your time to say.
Let me just drop a jewel on what you're saying right there with the no character development. The whole relationship aspect of Martin and Gina developed throughout the entire Martin series. So you can go on.
Nah, if you say that, but it still ended up in the same place by the end of it. So what really progressed?
Her, bro.
Yeah.
He married her.
Yeah.
And did you see what they had to go through when he became the monk and all of that? That was all
I remember that shit.
Yeah, but that all falls back into that whole slapstick thing with me. But anyway, this is, for me, it was like, Martin to me is just, okay, all the characters and all that stuff, yeah, that was cool, and he did it, and he did it well. You had, Tommy ain't got no job, and this, that, and the other, like, all that was cool, and him
Cole
and Pam
and
going
Big
at each
Shirley?
other and all of that. What?
Come on, son. Cole and Big Shirley.
Big Shirley that we never got to see.
That we never, but you see what you just did. As soon as I said that, like, you looked around for a second and you laughed because of all of the moments that Cole talking about Big Shirley and moving in with her and all of that shit.
But you knew nothing was never happening. That's the thing that I'm trying to get to, is that all of that stuff in Martin, it's not going no further than that. Nothing was gonna happen with Cole and Big Shirley. You knew nothing was gonna happen with Tom. Aside from when him and Pam got together for that second. For me, and like I said, for me, the thing about Living Single that I really enjoyed is that, number one, it showcased successful black people in the early 90s. There was a stockbroker, there was a business owner, there was a lawyer. It was good stuff to see. And it had those elements of, like, you had the Sinclair Overton stupid slapstick stuff. Okay, cool. And then you had just, the classic comedy elements. Erica Alexander as Max was one of the funniest things I had seen on TV back then. Like, she was, I can't call it nothing but great. And how her and Kyle used to go back and forth, in my opinion, was better than Martin and Pam going back and forth, yo. Yeah. And the dope thing about that, it's open to opinion, yo. It's open to opinion.
And you're allowed to have
because the thing about the comedy with because you can say they were basically the same, because it was just them, like, throwing jabs at each other. But the difference is that on the back end of Max and fucking Kyle going back and forth is the last episode of season 1. The motherfuckers wake up in the bed together, and then they start having a little relationship behind the scenes together, and then they get together with their friends together, and then they end up having a baby together, and then 7 years after the show is over, they end up on half and half together with a 7-year-old daughter, because they made a cameo on that show because they kept going with that.
Yeah.
And and that's what I'm saying, like, how they built up to that from them just being, just jabbing each other, and even being in a relationship and still jabbing the shit out of each other. And that was one of the things I really liked about it. The how can I say the shit with like the Regine bougie shit versus the Khadijah real shit, and how they put that together, and when they would have their beef and all of that stuff. It was some good moments there when Regine's mom used to show up and her actual real mom, Chip Fields, used to come to the show. That was some hilarity right there. And just showing how, you know, like I said, like how Kyle and Max went from jabbing each other to end up actually having a relationship. How Overton and Sinclair went from Overton finally getting it to them actually getting married and getting their own apartment and moving out. Like, you know, it was good, man. And if you want to talk about this, the ratings don't lie. Living Single was number 1, Martin was number 2 during its whole run. You can check that in TV Guide or whatever you want to look at. Ratings don't lie, yo.
Yeah, but if we went by ratings, this tournament would be completely different.
Yeah, but it's still something to mention because people shit on Living Single like it was trash when people say Martin, like, yo, like y'all are bugging. It's not trash compared to Martin. Like Martin wasn't the be all end all on Fox 5, yo. And Martin was not trash in its own, but Martin gave me a certain type of slapstick comedy, and it was good. It was cool, but beyond that, it really didn't move me that much more beyond.
You think Martin be doing too much?
Yes.
You think he be doing too much?
Yeah. And Martin himself, he did too much. You got Romy Rome, you got Roscoe. You how many characters do you need?
What was the chick? What was the chick? Who lived across the hall?
What the fuck was her name?
Shanae.
You got Shanae, you got Roscoe, you got Jerome. What was the ninja's name, yo?
What was the ninja's name?
What was his name?
But that's what I'm saying though. Martin's diversity is just ridiculous with it. But before I go into my shit, Smills, why do you put Martin above Living Single?
It's the same argument as far as for Friends versus I Love Lucy for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically.
You mean Fresh Prince versus Jeffersons?
No, the same argument as Friends versus I Love Lucy.
Oh, Friends. Oh, okay. I thought you said Fresh Prince.
It's like I think that Living Single is a good show, but it's no fucking Martin as far as favorite sitcoms for me would go. Mm-hmm. Because the way I look at it, they kind of do the same thing as far as slapstick, but Living Single don't do the slapstick as well. Living Single has characters that I really think they're like secondary. Like Martin don't have secondary characters. The whole cast, all of them do their damn thing.
They all shine equally.
Yeah, Tommy is the closest to a secondary character. Yeah. But with a Living Single, Overton and Sinclair are both secondary characters. As far as I'm concerned, like those two characters, their storyline and all of that, I could do without. Like I'm good with all of that. But they both have the same type of character development as far as like what he said, the relationship that developed with Carl in this one, just like how Tommy had a relationship develop with Pam, and then Martin. I thought the whole thing with Martin and his relationship with Gina, the way it grew from him being like a childish, like running around crazy kid to someone that did one of the most beautiful moments when he had Brian McKnight come out.
That shit was just on TV earlier, yo.
Like that was ridiculous. That show drove as a mother to me. So I think Martin did the same type of things that a Living Single was doing, but they just did it better. So that's why I would say, for me, it's easy to pick Martin. Living Single was a good show, but it's no Martin as far as sitcoms would go, if you ask me.
And that's interesting that you say that, because you were of a certain age to where you can relate to what's going on.
Both of them at the same time.
Exactly. You know, me, like my sister, for example, she's older than I am. She was born late 70s. My sister, if I were to ask her Martin versus Living Single, she's gonna say Living Single. And I know because she used to watch that shit all the time.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time too.
For me growing up though, like being a little young buck, you know, just watching TV, Martin, to me, that slapstick shit that he was doing had me in tears.
And that's why I would give it to him, because we're doing that sitcom shit.
And as
That's why,
and as a grown man going back and watching Martin, I mean, some of the stuff he be doing too much. Sometimes with it, like a little over the top, right? But like
you would say that Living Single.
But that was my whole thing when I was watching.
Living Single would stand the test of time a little bit better because of
it'll hold up.
Yeah.
It'll hold up.
But see, that's the sentiment that you have saying that Martin was doing too much. You say that now. I was saying that when I was watching it. It was. I ain't need all that.
You didn't say that
Martin,
to kind of like
might not be your cup of tea though.
I guess so. But it was just.
Do you like any of his stand-ups? Like you saw?
Hold on, wait.
The joint he did in '94. What was
Run
that called? Run Tell That. Yeah.
Let's rewind it because with Martin, I believe like he didn't have too many characters the first 2 seasons. Those crazy amount of characters because he really just had Shanae. The real like when it started getting crazy like that was like coming towards like the last couple of seasons. He started just throwing mad other.
But it was just, I guess it was just Martin's comedy for me to and all of that.
Jerome
Time,
in the
like,
house ain't be funny to you. Jerome in his house.
In the beginning, yes. When as soon as he walks in, he's like, "Rummy Roman." That's all I need. I don't need no more of that. And him constantly pushing up on Pam. Like I don't need all that. I just need him to come in the door. Rummy Roman. That's it.
Martin,
it was
Martin
too much, man.
Martin called Pam because Gina was over there before he proposed, and he was. She answered the phone and he was like, "Oh, hello, sir. Can I speak to Pam?" And then it's just quiet. He was like, "Oh, my bad, Pam. I thought that was your brother." Yo, Martin be killing Pam, son, and that I can't put anybody else above Martin and Pam's love hate for each other. I can't do that because they did it so well.
Remember the dream episode?
The which one?
You remember the episode when she was having, they were both having, I think she was having a dream?
Yes, and they were together.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that episode. But see, this is the thing for me. Remember the episode where they went to the retreat and the fucking rat was there or whatever, raccoon, whatever that shit was?
That big ass rat.
And they fought that motherfucker for like 15 minutes. I was over it, son. That's what I'm talking about. I don't need all of that. I need a quick little pow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was funny in the beginning, but it's like, funny, now the joint going around the door sill and all. I'm like,
oh my God. Son. But see, even as you saying it, I'm like almost brought to tears because it's
I guess I was just in a different space, man.
The rat made a comeback like
it came. They threw it out and then it came back. It pulled up. What was it? Later that night, or it just like popped up in the window or something like that.
It was another episode.
Like by the last time,
season, I think.
By the last time it happened, it was redundant. Like
that's what I'm saying, man.
It was funny.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing with Martin. It's funny in the beginning, and like bro, man, constantly showing up after the first couple times. It's like, all right.
Bro, man,
I didn't really like.
You know what I'm saying?
Like he was there too much.
Coming through the window.
Yeah, it was too much. They started focusing on.
Then he used to come in there and just eat. He would just be eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, we get the joke. I guess that was the thing for me. Like Living Single really didn't give me a lot of. It was a lot of Overton and Sinclair banter that went on over and over. That I can't front. I can say a little bit of it was like, all right, we get it. But I don't know, that Max and Kyle dynamic especially, man. I guess y'all ain't dig deep into it, but that shit was special. And that shit had me hollering. And when they started, when that last episode, when they woke up together in the bed, yo, that shit was hilarious.
Of Sinclair, the way they focused on the stupidity of Sinclair and that's
what I'm talking about. That became too much after a while. Yeah.
And the naiveness of Overton. Both of those.
Yeah.
They were too much, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I would have to give Martin over that because those are big strikes for me, bro.
But for me, Martin in itself, a lot of that shit was too much. It gave me that type of vibe.
I think,
and I mean, at least the thing I liked about it,
it's more of a well-rounded show.
Yeah,
you know, it with character development and all of that stuff.
And it had a few serious moments that that were cool. And the whole thing of how they spread out how Khadijah and Scooter was going back and forth, and then they got engaged, and I gotta leave, and it's like it had a couple of the moments too.
But what I'm gonna say to you is this: was Biggie ever on Living Single? That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God,
let's go. Martin wins it. Next,
yeah,
because of Biggie.
We got
Please.
Seinfeld versus Family Matters out here. I'll go first with this. Seinfeld versus Family Matters. I know that you guys are gonna pick Family Matters. I get it. Family Matters is a great show. Steve, I grew up watching Family Matters. Family Matters and Full House back to back. They used to do that shit all the time. Steve Urkel's hilarious. I get that. I couldn't stand Laura. Hated her. Hated her fucking guts. I hate Laura like I hate them kids from the Tricks commercial that never let the damn bunny get the goddamn cereal.
You hate Laura more? Do you hate Laura more than Winnie?
Do I hate Laura more than Winnie? You
I
know
do.
what?
Yeah.
I put Laura and Winnie in the same exact bag, but I hate Laura more because Laura never really gave. Yo, you got to go into the machine and come out as Stefan for Laura to like you. Get the fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
Get out of here.
Laura constantly played out a good dude.
For
and
real.
then the messed up part is that when he got with Myra, she had the nerve to get jealous, yo.
Word.
Winnie
And he
kinda
had-
did the
yo,
same stuff with Kevin, though.
Yeah, didn't Kevin get with that cheerleader or something like that?
The blonde hair with the blonde hair girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's the
then
same thing.
Winnie felt a certain way, but then Winnie, instead of doing something about it, she would just go and she'll get with the next dude. Because she
Yeah.
went to another high school and then she started fucking with another dude.
But she was doing that out of spite because she knew Kev would find out about it. She was playing mental games with him, bro.
It was still love with them. Like, at the end of the day, still love with them. Motherfucking, they ain't no love with Laura and Steve Urkel. They're just ain't.
Yeah.
I
So then
am
what's your basis?
I'm gonna put Seinfeld on there. I think that Seinfeld is a classic. I think that Seinfeld is funny as fuck, even though it's about absolutely nothing. I think that each character on Seinfeld is funny as hell in their own way. Even though Kramer is a racist piece of shit, if we can double back before he dropped all those damn N-words, Kramer was hilarious to me. Jerry wasn't really that funny, but Jerry was kind of like the centered one. And then of course George Costanza, bro, it ain't even a
He's
fucking
hilarious.
it ain't even a
George was
contest.
funny. I can't front.
Seinfeld puts Family Matters in a motherfucking body bag. Boom, right there. Just like that. Now I know y'all ain't gonna agree, but state your claim.
Well, I'll go.
All right,
I'll let me.
I'm gonna say mine.
Go ahead.
We're doing sitcoms, and just on the George Costanza argument, he's won me over with Seinfeld.
Let's go.
I love Family Matters, but if you go character for character, I'm gonna say Seinfeld has they have a funnier staff, but it also could be because of the environment that's created. They create an environment of turmoil with Seinfeld, and that's the premise of the show because it's a show about nothing versus a structured show and Family Matters.
Right.
But Family Matters do have some characters, like Eddie Winslow is not funny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they have characters. Then you got Jemira, she is funny. But then Laura, she's not funny like that.
She's
and
not.
then a little, like, so...
Jaleel
but-
White is the only funny person on that show,
Yeah.
but
Pops
he was
is-
so funny that he literally made
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Pops is not, I don't look at Pops for the comical aspect of it like that, really. I look at him for the father aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he plays that role very well. So I'm going to say you want me
Family
over
Matters
with
was
that.
more
I'm going-
of a Family
I'm going
Matters
to
was
Seinfeld.
more of a serious sitcom.
It was.
That's
It was.
what that more so was.
It's
But
kind of
my-
going like the Wonder Years now, if you think about it.
A little bit.
Nah, I don't really put it in the Wonder Years bag though, because
You won't say that it's drama?
nah, it's not drama all the time. Like when Eddie
It's
got the
not
gun
drama
charge
all
and
the
stuff
time.
like that.
It might
Like,
be
yeah,
like
it's drama.
with a heavy comedy. Like, I
It's
don't
just
know.
who to me, Jaleel White as Urkel at that time was the singular funniest character on television. And as goofy as he may have been in the nerd and all of this, but to say when he first came on the show, he was only contracted for 2 episodes. But when he came on, he was so funny. They was like, yo, write him in. They wrote him
They
in the
started
show.
writing the show around his character,
Around
yeah.
him. And that was so dope. But what I liked about Family Matters is that it actually upheld its title, because that's what the show always fell back on at the end of the day. And I appreciate it for that aspect, and just, you know, just for them highlighting, you know, a real nerdy kid doing real nerdy stuff, and just making that, you know, making that more acceptable. I mean, it was a double-edged sword, because then if you did wear glasses back in the day, what did they always call you? They called you Urkel.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was still a good thing to see, and I just like the fact that the show, yeah, it wasn't always comedy like a sitcom, but it always, a lot of shows you left with a jewel, you know? And that was a good thing for back in, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s, when I was young like that. I appreciated that.
See,
And
now,
they surrounded it by a lot of comedy.
My thing about it with Family Matters is it feels like when it started coming towards the end, the show wasn't holding weight. When they started focusing on the fun character and stuff like that, it was corny.
It
Like,
lasted too long. Like when they
Didn't he
switched
come
to
out
Channel
as Bruce
2.
Lee one time?
Yeah,
What happened?
He
yeah,
came out as Bruce Lee one time, out of the machine.
yeah.
Wow.
They had that fight in the basement or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
See, yeah, that's too much. And that's the thing, like, it has that point, that aspect of it. And then, like I said, the character for character. Yeah, I'm going to go with Seinfeld, man. And I didn't expect to do that, but it is what it is.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is a classic, and it is one of the greatest shows of all time, my dude. It may not have been your slice of cake or whatever the fuck the saying is.
That's
Yo,
not my
Kramer
slice
used
of
to
cake,
have,
pie,
like,
or cup of
Kramer
tea.
used to be my dude until the racism thing happened and all of that. But George Costanza brings tears to my eyes.
He's hilarious.
He brings tears to my eyes.
His father's hilarious, and his father is the father on King of Queens,
yeah.
playing the
Yo, and they
same
got
character,
the same
essentially.
personality. You could, like, they got the same personality if you think about it.
All right,
Let's
Seinfeld moves on unanimously,
go. No, it doesn't.
body baggingly.
Yo, Seinfeld stan over here.
Not even. I know that the only funny thing about Family Matters was Urkel. We just said it. Laura wasn't funny. Eddie Winslow wasn't funny. The father wasn't funny. Yo, Fresh Prince, almost every one of them except for Ashley was all funny.
That's true.
So Family Matters, you don't hold the weight. You got nothing on Seinfeld. Body bag just happened. Boom.
This guy, yo.
But big
Let's
up
move
to
it
Jaleel
along.
White, because done Jaleel White got to strain the weed out now.
You do.
Man.
Purple
Hell
Earth.
yeah, he do. I'm gonna smoke that
Purple
shit.
Earth. It's called Purple Earth.
It's called Purple Urkel.
Yes.
Go. You know what? No, I changed it. Family Matter 1. It's like no. All right, King of Queens versus Good Times. I'm gonna
Because
let
this is
y'all.
polar opposite stuff right here, yo.
I'm gonna let y'all do that.
This is polar opposite stuff right here. Because Good Times, and see, if I would compare anything to Wonder Years, yo, it would be Good Times. But the thing about Good Times is that that's what I'm about to say. Good Times was that funny that when you would have those John Amos, because it was them John Amos moments, son. It was them John Amos moments. And like that episode when they got robbed and all that stuff, like it was them type of moments.
Yeah, and with Penny with the iron.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, man.
Cause Good Times really had that. It gave you that inner city vibe, like real
It
heavy.
felt like that was. It felt like you was in the projects and you went to your next door neighbor's crib.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. But the hilarity of just dynamite, like yo, man. But King of Queens for me though. King of Queens got so many moments where I literally almost choked on some food. I doubled over in pain because I was laughing so hard, yo. And like you said, King of Queens is one of them shows that really wasn't about too much either. Dude driving his truck and just everyday antics. But like I said, that one episode, man, when Carrie cut her hair, and it's the thing about, and a lot of people don't really talk about Kevin James, yo. Between King of Queens and them few episodes he was on Everybody Loves Raymond, yo. Like, he was a funny dude, man. And just the way he said, like, when she cut her hair, he turned over and he was like, she looks like a weird boy. Like, it was just the way he said it was just so funny, man. And the situations they used to get put in with Arthur, yo. Like, the one episode, Carrie was having problems with like Arthur, like, taking his medicine and doing whatever he's supposed to be doing. And so Doug was like, yo, you need to chill, let up off him, he'll be all right. And she was like, all right, you think it's good, then you take him. And so Doug's taking him around to get his haircuts and all of this stuff and this, that, and the other. And then he realized that, like, yo, all right, I gotta chill. And then so Doug sits on the couch, or goes in the kitchen, he makes them both sandwiches. He's like, yeah, all right, here you go, Arthur. And just so you know, I put your medicine in the sandwich, so I just got you. Like, he thought he couldn't get him to take I think it was a blue pill or red pill, whatever that he didn't want to take. Yeah. And so Arthur was like, no, I took all the big reds and stuffed them all in your sandwich. And since you eat your food like I think he said like a mule or something, you just shove it down your gullet. I'm gonna take the keys to the car and hit the road. Enjoy the pretty colors. Like, yo, it was just so many of the moments in that show, and it's just, man, Good Times is a classic though. But I guess for, like I said, for even though the comedy in Good Times was really heavy, aside from, but the drama in Good Times was really what it was. But to me, what Good Times was more about. So if we're gonna talk about sitcom and comedy, yo, I gotta give it to King and Queens, yo.
Wow.
I gotta give it to King and Queens, man.
So damn, Kevin James has a lot of movie duds.
Oh, his movie game is trash, yo. His
That's
movie
why
game is pretty bad.
It's every time I think of Kevin James, like, I think of like Paul Blart Mall Cop. Like, yeah. And I shouldn't. I should be thinking of King and Queens, but like I can't.
Yeah, I
help.
disregard his movie career. I don't even like that means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that King and Queens was just different.
I unfortunately never watched Good Times like that. I've seen a couple episodes and that's it. It was before my time. It never really hit my television like that. I can't really speak on it. King of Queens I did watch, and it has funny episodes. King of Queens is a little bit more sitcom-y to me. Like, to your point, Good Times has that serious kind of drama shit going on with it here and there. Yeah. So I personally would give it to King of Queens as well.
Yeah, King of Queens had the moments, man. Now I'm thinking of moments. Did you see the episode where Deacon and Kelly got them the self-portrait?
What is it?
Yo, Deacon and Kelly got Doug and Carrie a self-portrait, right? But the portrait was like terrible. Like, Carrie's hand was like the size of like a baseball mitt. And they would come over to the crib and they're like, yo, you ain't hanging the picture yet? It's like,
oh,
yeah,
I see it right here.
Right here.
I see it right here. Oh shit, that's funny. Yo, watch her hand like that.
Yo, and Deacon came over like, yo, I got the perfect spot for you. He had like the museum lights that you hang over photos or whatever. Like he's like, I got the perfect spot for you. He put the light up. He hung the picture up. He was standing there. He was just smiling like, hey. It's just so many of the moments, man, in King of Queens. And it was like, oh man, like even that right there just made me holler, yo.
Yo, her whole arm.
You see her whole arm. And I can't remember. She was saying some crazy shit about it. And the funny thing is, they was like, yeah, the picture is, they like threw it away and they said, oh yeah, it got destroyed. And so Deacon and Kelly popped up. They was like, don't worry, we got you another one. And her arm was even bigger in that shit.
Wow.
Oh man, yo. King of Queens just had them. It was just real. It was real hilarious, yo.
And I'm a fan of Leah Remini, so yeah.
Yo, it was good. And it's so many, and that's the thing about it. There never really was an off episode of King of Queens. Like, I never could think of an episode that was like, they all had their moments. Like that episode that Doug had Holly staying at the crib. Cause you remember Holly, the dog walker, was
yeah.
Doug had her staying at the crib. Something happened with her boyfriend or something like that. So she was staying on the first floor, and Carrie had some type of thing she had to do for the law firm. So she was spent most of her time in the office. And they played this thing where he had like an upstairs wife and a downstairs wife. And Holly would cook all the food downstairs, and then he'd go upstairs with Carrie, get the buns or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, from the upstairs wife. So he would walk out the room in the morning, like Carrie would be in the office. His speed walk past the room like, come down for breakfast. And then go downstairs, and Carrie got Holly got a whole meal downstairs. And then he'll come up, Carrie come downstairs like, oh, Doug, I'm stressed, I need a little bit of this. So go upstairs, they get right. The Doug will be upstairs, and the same thing will happen. She'll still be in the office. Doug will speed past the office. Come down for dinner. And run downstairs. Like, yo. It was just moments like that, man.
Kevin James was definitely funny in that show. Just his movie game was whack to me. But I would say that King of Queens is funny as hell. What do you think, Smills? King of Queens or Good Times?
I'm gonna go with Good Times.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Good Times just because now that I've really been thinking about it and talking about sitcom, I'm gonna say Good Times should win this tournament easily, hands down. Because Good Times is the only show that mastered both aspects of the game. They delivered like real messages and addressed real life situations and circumstances dealing with unemployment, child abuse, like just being in the wrong place in the wrong time in the ghetto. They did all of that, and then also the comedic aspect of it was ridiculous with it. Like the balance is unmatched with any other show in this entire tournament. So I mean, I like you see this thing been conking with me. So I don't really know what the argument is right now, but I'm gonna say Good Times just on the simple fact that now that I'm thinking about it after everything that's been said, to me that is the greatest sitcom of all time.
Wow. You put it over Cosby Show?
They did the comedic aspect better than the Cosby Show, and they kept it real with like I think they even kept it realer when it came to the real life situations. The Penny thing with her getting burnt with the iron or some child abuse thing, that was crazy. When James died, that was crazy. The thing when what's her name, Walona, when she was dating somebody and then found out that he was blind, that was crazy. Like there was so many like things that they
Good Times had those moments, man.
Yeah, like it was crazy.
Wasn't
like,
Janet Jackson on it?
Robbed and all that.
Yeah, Janet Jackson was the one that got burnt with the iron.
She was Penny.
Yeah,
I don't. Unfortunately, I really can't. I can't offer anything to this argument because I never really watched Good Times.
I got to Good Times later on, but I mean, I watched it. I watched all of them, honestly. But like you were saying, like I get what you're saying, how they split it down the middle for the most part in a perfect way.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, with that said, I associate Good Times more with drama.
Okay.
Because the Good Times to me, it was so relatable that yeah, it was funny. But the shit that was going on in Good Times, being in the projects and just that whole dynamic of the father having to bust his ass and work and just all of that.
Yeah.
It was so relatable that I didn't really spend a lot of my time like really laughing at it. I mean, when they used to go back and forth, like the kids used to go back and forth. Yeah, that shit used to be fun.
Yeah.
But you spent so much time like, damn, they got us on TV. Like that's how I used to look at Good Time.
It felt like the first reality show, so to say.
Yeah.
Like someone had a camera in your next door neighbor's crib.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, for sitcom though, I gotta still give it King of Queens, bro.
I like King of Queens too, but
for sitcom
greatest
vibes,
sitcom
yo.
of all time, man. I don't think that's gonna go.
Nah, nothing touches Good Times where they situated themselves on television. Like the closest thing to me that touches Good Times in that is the Cosby Show. But the difference being is that the Cosby Show wasn't necessarily so relatable because my my mother wasn't a lawyer, my
Exactly.
father wasn't a doctor.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, we were struggling back in the day.
That was the golden pastures that we were looking to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully one day attain type stuff.
But that's the only thing I can say that closely resembles that in the, you know, the teachings and the things that, you know, they went through with the kids and how they, you know, that type of stuff. And the little message that you got out of that when Vanessa was wearing makeup and, you know, Cliff saying, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. Like, you know, we heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that Cosby Show talk when we get there.
All right, well, I picked King of Queens, and G, you picked King of Queens, so King of Queens is gonna go on. Maybe later on down the line, we could do like the greatest show of all time, and Good Times and Breaking Bad will be like in the finale, and we could talk about it. But yeah, so that's okay. Now, where are we now? The last one of this episode is going to be The Cosby Show versus Married with Children.
Ooh!
Polar opposites, yo. The trash family versus the golden family, so to speak.
Yo!
Smills, you want to start?
Good, Smills, take it away, yo.
Yep.
Yo, that's crazy because the Cosby Show really can be argued as the greatest sitcom of all time. Like, I can understand a lot of people using that as their argument. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to go with the Cosby Show because when I think about it, no matter how much I love Married with Children, once they started getting old, it started getting corny.
Yeah, when
You know what I'm
especially when
saying?
Kelly
Like,
got old, yo.
Yeah,
It
it
was like,
started getting corny, and that's when and they had a lot of episodes after that, man.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts a tarnish on it. The Cosby Show started getting a little bit corny towards the end, but they stopped at the right time, I think. And it transitioned to a different world, like taking the forefront of that at the right time. I'm gonna go with the Cosby Show.
I'm gonna go with the Cosby Show because for everything that we've already said, you know, it portrayed. I feel like minorities, black people in general, watched the Cosby Show and they looked at it as something that it's like a positive representation of us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something that I can aspire to be. And I think for that, nobody aspired to be Al Bundy.
No.
You know what I mean? Even though Al Bundy was hilarious.
I don't know about all of that.
Oh,
Man,
you wanted to be Al Bundy when growing up?
Yo, there was people, son, when I was in high school, there was people running around the halls talking about pig. That sounded like they wanted to be Al Bundy to me, man. You know, like,
but it's hard to put anything above the Cosby Show. Unfortunately, we have to address the elephant in the room.
I mean, it's just like Kramer and that whole Seinfeld went forward.
That's true.
I mean, it's messed up that the
true.
legacy has been tarnished by, you know, these allegations. Well, can't really say allegations because Cosby's doing jail time.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not necessarily saying cast that aside, but staying focused on the point of this for like you said, in 1984, to see a black doctor and a black lawyer on TV in a big house with children going to school and not caught up in the jokes. In 1984, to see that on television, it was special. And like you said, like it was something where you seeing, like you sat there kind of in awe, like, yo, we can actually do, like, we could do shit like this. Like we can be lawyers and be doctors and all of that type of stuff. And just how, and when we was talking about like progression earlier, which is one of the things that I really appreciated about the Cosby Show, how it went forward in all its different directions. Sandra went to college, she came back, she got married, she had twins. Vanessa had that whole stuff going on with Dabness and this, that, and the other, and, you know, end up finding her way. Lisa Bonet going out to Africa, coming back, then going to different world, and then Theo going from like a D student to becoming a volunteer to graduating college and becoming a teacher. And like, it was the way that they moved those stories along, especially with the kids, made it gave you like that, yo, so we could do this here. Right. Because when you think about it, they all had opposition in their own way. And that was just a great thing. And later on, as the show started getting older, they made adjustments at the right time. How they started getting the Rudy and Bud thing really started gaining traction. And when my man we was talking about Merlin Santana, when he was on the show and him and Kenny was getting into it, and it's just the way, I don't know, man, it's just the way that the show moved. And as it moved with the time, like it was just great to see. And like, a lot of that stuff, how they used to have the whole extra things going on that you wasn't doing in your household. Like when they gave Theo the fake money and emptied his room and made him go downstairs and buy his stuff and made him go here and buy some stuff and all of that. Like, I don't know if y'all remember that episode.
I don't remember that one.
When like Theo said he had enough money to do this. Not the first episode. The first episode was when he was like, yeah, I got enough money to do this and do that and do that, and I'm cool. But it was an episode where he like they had took all his money and like cleared his room out. So then he would go downstairs to the kitchen, and it was actually a furniture store. And he had to buy like you remember that episode, right?
Yeah.
And then he pulled up with Cockroach as his lawyer or something like that.
They was teaching him about budget.
Yeah. So it was stuff like that, man. That it was really dope to see how they kind of worked that into disciplinary methods that we weren't used to, and like how they made Vanessa had got drunk and then they was playing a drinking game, and then Rudy had to drink and she thought Rudy was actually drinking a drink. Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it was really a thought provoking, and it's just dope to see a black family on TV doing something that you wouldn't expect. Because it was, all right, you drinking, I'm gonna beat your ass, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was real for its time and for what it was. It really changed the game, man. It really did. And it's unfortunate. It's so messed up that it has to be tarnished by all this recent stuff that's going on. But for what it was, man, Cosby Show was shit, yo.
So Cosby Show goes through. And that's the end of the first round.
Nice.
Man, we gonna have a hard time figuring this out next week. Because listen to these brackets. Fresh Prince versus I Love Lucy. Martin versus The King of Queens. The Bernie Mac Show versus Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh my God.
And Seinfeld versus The Cosby Show. Ouch.
Bernie Mac and Everybody Hates Chris, yo. I digress. I'm not picking, yo. Fuck that.
Crazy. But yeah, that's it. So that was round one.
Ooh.
Yep. Crazy. All right. So we'll get everything posted, like the updated brackets on social media this week. And yeah. So we got check us on the YouTube, guys, because we're gonna have a not only this episode, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this, but go to the YouTube. We just did a quick little special on Juneteenth and what Juneteenth means to us and means to the Black community. So definitely go and check that one out as well. But yeah, so we'll be back with round 2 of the best sitcom ever tournament, according to your boys, Trash Talk with GGS. But before we take a walk here, any final words, G?
Yo, man, everybody have a good week. Stay safe, stay blessed, move accordingly. Enjoy yourself, enjoy this weather, and make sure you tune in next week, man. We're going to keep it going.
Peace, strength, blessings to all. Move right through the week. That's all.
That's it. Everybody, stay safe, stay happy, all the great stuff. We'll check y'all next week. Have a good one.
Peace. Thanks for listening to Trash Talk with GGS. See y'all next week.